Hey Virgo, it's October already. I have my little Halloween t-shirt on from Black Milk. It is a little cute little crop thing with a tight waist. Love it. So yeah, October already. This year is going by so fast. I'm going to just jump straight into it. So I'm using the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms for the keywords at the top. I'm doing the same layout as last month where we have keywords and then we have um, energy that we're in, and then where we're heading to with that energy. For that I'm using the Everyday Witch Tarot as the main deck. I'm doing 4 columns. I don't know if I did 3 or 4 last month, but I was drawn to do 4 this month. So if it's different, if it's different, if it's the same, it's the same. I don't know. September just seems so long, like it just lasted forever, and yet it went by so fast. I don't know if that's just because it's been kind of stressful for me a little bit. Okay, you've got 2 in the same spot, I think. Interesting. And that, and then that. Yeah, I don't know if it's just been, like, Mercury retrograde just did a whole number on me on the way people communicate with me more than anything. I feel like that arised. And obviously open things up within me to kind of think, this is something you might need to look at. Heal here. How's it been dealing with you? Comment below if Mercury retrograde had any trials and annoying times for you. So we're starting off with the Ringmaster of Scrutiny. Discernment, clear vision and details. Instantly as I finish saying what I was saying about Mercury and retrograde, I get this feeling that it has brought things up for you that's maybe left you feeling a little bit detached. I do find that that's what it's done for me, Virgo, so that kind of makes sense. And I feel like you are in this position where you are kind of shining light on those areas that kind of brought you grief or brought you some kind of, I want to say it feels like a little bit like it's a nuisance. So you're shining light on that. I do feel as though you are a little bit of like a master within this situation, being in the sense of you are kind of trying to lead others to do better toward you, if that makes sense. That's what this feels like for you. So I feel like it's like you're shining light on these areas and being like, hey, look, this happened. I don't like that. Let's change it. I feel like it's that kind of energy, which I'm loving. 7 of Wands definitely indicates that you felt like things were coming at you, or this is the energy you're in now, so that things are coming at you, and perhaps numerous things at different ways. I do feel like you are a little bit on the defensive. So again, it's that kind of energy where we're like, hey, I'm not liking this, what's happening. I do think it's very important that when we are in that sort of situation, that we do see our healing that needs to be made there. Virgo, I do think in a way you do take on this teacher role, that you use your moments as teachable moments for others. But I do think it's wise to understand that there is learning for you there as well. So be aware of that, because again, you are the one wielding the wand, so I think you are directing things the way they're meant to go, or where they're going. So be aware of that, because if things are going south, it may be perhaps that you're taking the wrong, I want to say taking the wrong lead, but perhaps, yeah. Something it needs to change anyway. The way that you approach it is what I would say. It does feel quite defensive. So where you're moving on from this energy, you actually have 2 cards in this position. You're the first reading of this month to kind of have 2 cards in the same spot. So that's kind of interesting when that happened. It's the High Priestess is the one that was like the second card, and that makes sense because you do feel like you are in the powerful seat, the one that's kind of leading things into balance and manipulating energies in your life. That kind of feel with that High Priestess. But also the of Wands. So I do feel like you are in this cutting off energy, and this is what I mean. I feel like you're like in the space where you're like, I'm not happy with this, so we either change it or go. It's kind of that kind of vibe, and that's where you're heading with it, is to letting go of things that don't serve you. So I do feel like this energy has a purpose, even with you in that defensive. But yeah, you are I feel like to say, like, you are the one carving your path from this point. I do feel like, Virgo, I've had this for you this year about you choosing you, about you carving your path, and like feeling like previous to this, you've always put things on the back seat, and like this year was kind of about correcting that. And again, I feel that you're in that energy of dropping what no longer serves, and it's like every month you are kind of reigniting that to ensure that you stay on this path. And I do think that this year is very much about repetition and cycles repeating really quickly, rather than those going through things for a long time and repeating it like it might happen. Oh no. Okay, I have my washing machine on and it vibrates the entire house. I really apologize for this, Virgo. I am vibrating. It is the washing machine. It will stop in a moment. I'm going to continue reading because the sound should be fine. I apologize if this is a little bit trippy for you. So again, with the wand is catching my eye, and you have wands throughout this. That symbology of the wand is really kind of drawing me in. I'm really sorry for this. I'm all over the place. Ooh, it's kind of trippy. I'm looking at my laptop, which I can see what you're seeing. That wand definitely feels as though, make sure that you are looking at your part in things before walking away too quick. You are looking back at the things you're letting go of. So I do feel like it is important to analyze and make sure you're making the right choices. Sometimes as earth signs, I feel like with our groundingness, we can feel very resolved in our decisions. So I kind of want you to make sure that you are actually thinking it through before you just cut everything off. It's kind of what I want to say. I just get that feeling with this column that that's kind of a little bit of advice for you there, Virgo. So I feel like snip, 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 snip is not the best technique, but letting go and moving on if it no longer serves is perfectly fine. Your next column, I may have to pause this. I feel like it's going on way too long. Yeah, I'm just going to pause you a second and I'll add it as soon as this is finished. Okay, annoyingly, the vibration stopped and changed how it's spinning as soon as I paused you, so that's just typical. It does mean that the upload will take longer as I put these videos together, but hey ho. Next column, the hungry ghosts, obsession, scarcity, consciousness, and attachment. Okay, so be aware, this to me, and I'm really recalling early days, early readings that I had from you. It's been nearly exactly a year since I've had this video, and I feel like from starting with you, Virgo, we're kind of taking that spin, again repeating. I feel like this is a reminder of what you have been healing this year. And it's that scarcity, that victim, kind of feel like you were holding this close, some of you, that it was like you had become it and that is just who you are. You kind of didn't want to let go of that and face this because it's kind of as though that's what got you to where you are, and you were very protective, didn't want to face it, very defensive. And I'm getting this sense of this reminding you of how far you've come, but also reminding like these things are so easy to sink back into if we allow ourselves to vibe low and allow ourselves to isolate ourselves, I would say. So be aware of that. These are ghosts that will always keep rearing their little head, and I do think it's important to know as humans we are continuously healing, so we may have to heal the same wounds again because they are reopened. It's a long lifetime kind of juggle, but it's a good thing. It's hard to see that when we're going through it, but it's kind of like we are trying to get ourselves into a place where we truly look at ourselves authentically, and by doing that we kind of shine light on the shadows and we do heal those areas, but I think it's natural for us to get into comforts, and we're not meant to be comfortable. And this is what I feel like with this. It's sort of showing you that, yes, it can make you go into that comfort again, into that space. But I think you need to realize that it's not that comfortable there. It's just what you know. And sometimes what we know is not always the best for us, right? The Hermit in reverse, you already have the wisdom, and that really makes sense of why that come through as well. You've already got that wisdom. I do feel like you may feel the desire to shut off and go back into that comfort, and that's what I'm feeling pulling me to that. But you've already gained all the wisdom that you possibly can in that moment. This is all about getting uncomfortable and doing something that is going to the cat might knock that video, but doing something that's going to make you feel more alive. I feel like we have sat in comfort for so long that now the universe is like, that's it. You're all like zombies. Enough is enough. Let's get going. Let's get moving. COVID slowed us down. Now we're in this space where we can now start entering the world and liven things up a little bit. And I feel like you need to really step out of your comfort zone. That is an earthy thing as well. Strangely, I feel like the earth signs are all about saying stop being comfortable, stop being stuck in that rut, you need to get moving. So the energy this is leading to, it's that Ten of Cups in reverse. Okay, interesting. Let me see what that feels like for you guys. So yes, I feel like you have, it's like this being, sorry, the cat's butt is right next to the camera. This is going to be another thing that interrupts. I apologize, guys. This feel of being comfortable. I do feel like you feel like you have everything you need, and so you're like, well, why do I need to get out of this comfort zone? But it's because there's so much better out there. There's so much more. I do feel like the energy you're heading towards is feeling grateful for where you are, though. And that's kind of like, this is what it's leading to. It's like a reminder of who you are, how far you've come. So I am loving that vibe. I do feel like this is a great time for you to really be understanding that you are the ringmaster of your life. I do feel, again, shining light on things that you want to eradicate. Again, I'm being brought back to that Hermit in reverse, and again, it is shining light on our ideas, and I feel like this could be a very great time for you to explore those ideas, because I feel like there's so much more, and I feel like this is going to get you into this energy where you are inspired to create all that you desire. But again, it comes from you taking these steps to get there. The next key card is the Eagle King, the big picture and angelic help. And I definitely see that this is the sense of you heading towards the bigger picture. It's the imagery on this card. Now, he is very healing. I feel like this is a great healing time for you, Virgo. I'm going to bring it to me because the light's shining on that face a little bit. I'm feeling sadness. I do feel like there is great healing for you. You do have to feel the grief and the sadness. So don't go into protection mode. Allow yourself to feel. Emotions are meant to be felt. We are not supposed to live in them. We're supposed to feel them, release them, and acknowledge them. So I do feel that within my soul, trying to kind of keep it to yourself and hold them close. But this is the time for you to stop doing that. You've done that for a very long time. See things from a different view. Now there's an eagle in this card, and I do see this card as being a card of taking a step back as well and looking at the bigger picture of what you're creating. So instead of being stuck in these emotions, you're feeling them, but why do you need to release these? What are you creating for yourself? And I really, again, want to point out the words that I'm using. It's like, what are you creating? What are you manifesting? Where are you going? Virgo, you are in control and you are in lead here. So even in those moments when you feel like you don't have control, or that there's control missing somewhere, you do have it. But this is all little key parts of it. So I want you to look at the bigger picture. The energy you're with in this is the Six of Wands in reverse. So I do feel like you give more than you receive. And I feel this victim mindset again coming into this. So be aware of that. But I do feel that you are in this stage of feeling like you are the gift that keeps on giving to others as well, which is quite interesting, actually. And yeah, again, that teacher mindset. Oracle, can you be careful? I feel like you are giving to people who... It's like the people that you are giving to... Okay. Mommy's just doing a video, look. Can you see? The people you are giving to, I feel like it's just because you respect them. Rather than giving to the people who deserve it, or the people who are supportive of you, I feel like the people you are giving to, so it's like you're giving away your authority. It's like respect to your elders. I really dislike that, actually, personally, when people like respect your elders, because a lot of old people don't deserve respect, because respect comes from being a respectful person, of deserving that respect, right? Careful with that, please. Can mommy have it? Come here. And I feel like you're doing that. You are again putting the wrong people before yourself rather than those who are actually would actually be there to support you. Those who can help you move into a new way of being and not stuck in the old. So be wary of that. Where you're heading with this. Yes, because again, in this energy of you being like that, I feel like you are suppressing your freedom. You're giving away your freedom, Virgo. So remember again, you are creating the life you want. So this is a choice, which is perfectly okay. But I do feel like it's going to hinder your abundance if you continue to kind of just do things out of duty rather than authenticity and what you want. So again, this does feel like you are repeating a cycle that you have been through. And again, it's because it's what you know, and it's fear of doing anything outside of what you know already. Thank you. But you are again holding the power. We have a wand yet again in this. She's holding a staff of power. So I want you to again realize, and this is what this is for me. It's you realizing and knowing that it's all about you. So I have like a knife that my son got. It's not a sharp knife. It's just one that I use to open something with in here. Yes, you are really the driving force. I need you to see that. The next card we have the Lady of Lightning. Surprises, sometimes shock, and a total paradigm shift. And this is what I see. Once you kind of get a hold of this and realize that, like, you know, allow those little cogs to turn and reset into the right spot, that this could really shift all that energy and kind of, I feel like as though it's going to fast track you into where you're heading, into like that next kind of phase. And it does feel like you've been leading up to this, and it's like repeating things but very, very quickly. Like I was saying about cycles, and this year it has been kind of bringing a lot of things up. I could say that even myself, I noticed, because I am very spiritual, I notice things on a different level now that I don't actually have to go through it as such. I have to go through something similar, and I'm like, this is repeating that lesson in a new way. And this is what I feel like for you, it coming into that spiritual kind of understanding of like, yeah, you know, I do see that what needs to change, what needs the work. And again, make sure that you are not self-sabotaging by pointing the light at yourself in a way that makes you feel terrible, because you are the way you are. Be kind to yourself and vulnerable with yourself, because the only way to heal something is with love, nurture, care. Think of it as though you are the nurse to yourself. Nurses don't heal by being horrible. If you have a horrible nurse in hospital, you're less likely to actually heal and get better than if you had someone who was nurturing you and being kind and respectful. Treat yourself as though you are your patient, because you are always the most loving thing that you have at your own disposal for yourself. You are the most deserving of that in your own life. And I do think that so many of us have to get onto that kind of train of realizing that. And that doesn't mean us being disrespectful to other people. That doesn't mean us not putting other people high up. It's just not making other people more superior to yourself so that you then get knocked all the way down and forgotten about in your own life, right? Food for thought. The energy that you're in with this is the Hierophant in reverse. So again, I feel as though you already have this wisdom and you have a support around you. I want you to really acknowledge who is supportive and who is just there out of duty, because there's a difference. For example, I'm going on to parents. So my mum is not only supportive out of duty being my mother, but she's also a friend and a best friend. So I can rely on her to talk to. I can rely on her for ideas and inspiration in the same way she can me. Then there is my dad, who is less supportive. If I went to him, he would say, oh, I'm always there for you. But he's only there if I go to him. And even then, like he ghosted me a while back when I actually needed that emotional support. So you see what I mean? There's something out of duty. So now I know not to go there now. That's kind of what I've learnt this year about duty and about care. Okay, there's a difference. And I feel like with this, that really can be the key to help. Next one, you have Lovers in reverse. So again, I do think this is about you finding yourself and freedom. This is, and the love within yourself. It's not about finding someone to be with And I'm not saying that that's not available to you and you're not in that, but what I'm saying is like this energy that you're in at the moment, this time, is supposed to be about healing yourself through yourself. There's my little black cat oracle walking all over the camera. Careful. So, I'm sorry, so sorry about all the interruptions for you, Virgo, but we've got to get through this. This is just mum life and my chaotic life with my cats and my babies. Yeah, it's all about you. Stop looking to other people for healing. And I feel like that is where sometimes, again, when we are leaning on people who are supposed to be good, like who are more authoritative over us, grandparents, parents, family, we again don't see ourselves because sometimes our family don't. Like that is part of our learning and I feel like so much this whole generation, because we want this nurturing love from our family and friends, which you should naturally have, but the previous generations, they took that for granted, and it kind of it turned into kind of a hard, toxic kind of love, where now us new generations are all about kind of over loving, because we didn't feel that when we were younger, and that's come through quite many generations, and it's gradually got to a point where now we are able to nurture our babies a lot better. Obviously there's still going to be that dynamic in the world, but I kind of feel like that's the whole point here. It feels like you need to find the love within yourself before you can feel it in others. Totally resonate with that with you, Virgo, so don't feel alone there. And I get that it can feel as though like a burden, like, well, why can't people love me? But I feel like it's not that they don't, it's just because we do not have that love so much within ourselves for ourselves, because again, putting other people before yourself will do that. You don't feel things the way that others are and come from a place of love to see it in that way. And again, we magnetize and attract what we are embodying. So love thyself and you will attract that love. I hope that makes sense with you, Virgo. Please comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you next month. Thank you, guys.